we wanted to do kind of a video to just introduce ourselves. A lot of people have been asking what is Arrows all about and why in the world are we called Arrows. So we wanted to kind of share with you guys how we came about doing this project. The entire goal and desire of this project is that it would just bless the people of God. The songs that we've written over the last few years, we want them to just bring deeper intimacy between God and his people and just bring freedom and deliverance over people's lives. So we pray that these songs would bless you. But yeah, so I'll let Vince kind of talk about why we're called Arrows.
So we were trying to figure out what to call ourselves. Like she said, we've been writing music together for a while now. She's been writing music for a lot longer than I have. When we first started hanging out, even before we started dating, we started kind of working on some songs together. So we've probably been writing together for 3 or 4 years at this point, probably. So we were kind of just wondering what we should call ourselves as far as marketing is concerned, I guess you could say. Like an artist name. What do we call ourselves? Sophie and Vincent Gonzalez doesn't really sound very appealing. We don't have one of those awesome last names that we could just name a band after our last name, like Gunger or Daughtry or something like that. You know, I probably wouldn't buy a CD that's called Gonzalez. So we were kind of just like wondering what the heck to do, trying to pray and scavenge the Bible for catchy sounding names and things like that. And we were coming up with nothing. We were just drawing blanks. And one night I was on online watching a music video, and I went to the artist page and came across a song that happened to have the word Arrows in it. And I kind of just thought, I was like, it's kind of cool. Like, why haven't we thought about that? We both kind of like archery. We haven't done it a whole lot, but we like it though. We enjoy watching it, and it's really cool. I think it's a beautiful art form. It's a really eloquent form of battle. But I came across that name, and I was like, why haven't we thought about something like that? And so the next morning, I was on Instagram, and I came across a post from Pastor Gabriel Menchaca, one of our missionaries over in Eastern Europe. And came across a post. He posted a picture of his son, Isai, and he posted the address of a verse. I can't remember for the life of me what it actually was. But he posted the address of a verse, and he was talking about, just him being a father and a son, things like that. And I told myself, and I kind of told God, I was like, God, if this is the verse that talks about how sons in a man's youth are as arrows to a warrior, if that's that verse, then that's going to be the name of this project. I didn't even talk to her; she was still asleep, I think. And I'm already over here negotiating with God a band name. And so I go and look up the verse, and lo and behold, it is that verse. I still haven't told her. Later on that morning, we're in the Starbucks drive-thru, and I was like, hey, what do you think about the name Arrows? I came across this last night, and I wanted to see what you think. She was like, yeah, I kind of like it. And so I'll kind of let her explain a little bit on what her side of that conversation was.
Yeah, so he had told me his idea about doing Arrows. We had been praying about, just a name that would fit us. And what I hadn't really told him about was that a few years ago when I was in prayer, actually, at my college, I was in prayer and I saw, me holding a bow and arrow, and it was made of guitar parts. So the bow was the fretboard, the strings were the actual arrow, and I felt God in that moment tell me that this was how I would war, that my weapon would actually be music. And since then, whenever I'm praying for people, even, today at church we sang Break Every Chain, and as I'm singing that song, I see myself with that arrow, and I see myself shooting things off of people as we were declaring this over their lives. And so when he said that, it brought me back to that. And so I told him, this is what I see when I'm praying, when I'm singing, and so we kind of just felt like maybe this is really, what God wants to do. And that, a few nights later, I was watching a video of Pastor Steve out of Elevation Church, and he was preaching about God's provision and how God will always provide what it is that you need in the season you're in, and for what it is that you're called to do. And he used a story out of 2 Kings in chapter 13 when the king of Israel goes to Elisha and he says, how is it that we're going to conquer these people because they're in the midst of war? And Elisha says, grab that bow and arrow. And the bow and arrow had been sitting there the whole time, and he said, shoot it out of the window, and these are arrows of deliverance for the people. And it brought me to the verse, in the book of Psalms where it talks about songs of deliverance and how our desire for this whole project really is to bring forth deliverance over people's lives. And so as we sing these songs, we're singing them like we're shooting arrows into the kingdom to bring forth growth and intimacy with God and his people. So.
And it was funny too, because when we were having that conversation in the Starbucks drive-thru, as she was telling me about that, the Lord reminded me of actually something years before that as well. I used to play on a worship team at another church, and so I remember we had a guest speaker one night. It was a Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken, and I was playing guitar that night. And so in the middle of her preaching, I don't know where she kind of just stopped and she's like, hey, where's that long-haired guitar player? I obviously don't have long hair anymore. But she was like, where's that kid that was playing guitar? And so she pointed me out, she goes, hey, stand up. And so I stood up, and she was telling me that as I was playing, as our team was leading worship, that she saw in the spirit that the strings that once held me in bondage, I'm now taking those strings, putting them on a bow and arrow, or putting them on a bow, and using those same strings as a weapon. Music is definitely a very powerful thing. It can be used to destroy people or to build them up. And before that time, I was really allowing music to destroy me because of the stuff that I was choosing to listen to. I was saying it was a way for me to, get out of my frustration, but if anything, it was feeding my frustration and feeding my anger. It was a trip when she was telling me about what she was singing in prayer, that as soon as she was saying that, I had suddenly remembered what that guest speaker had told to me about taking those strings that once held me down and using them as a weapon that I'm seeing now. I am able to, and we are able to use to free others who are being held in bondage.
So yeah, that's how arrows became arrows. But we hope that this music just blesses your life, and that it even stirs people to, get out there to put out their own stuff. I believe that God is doing something great in this generation with music, and so we just pray that it blesses you. But yes, so have a
We'll
good
be posting
Sunday,
some
yeah.
stuff hopefully very soon. Sorry for the long wait for this video. All right, thank you.